it's Melissa of Inner Sounds Academy. Thanks so much for joining our YouTube channel where we talk about yogic philosophy, astrology, sound healing, lots of little magic. And we do micro meditations and we learn about the instruments, all things to do with sound healing. So today we will be doing a micro meditation with our third chakra and our third eye. At the end of this video, I'll do a little meditation around willpower, stamina, intuition. Both things are needed for us to launch our New Year's resolution. So the theme of this week's video is New Year's resolutions. And what does yoga actually have to say about it? What does this like box of matches have to do with what I'm about to talk about? Well, that's coming soon. Okay, so New Year's resolutions. Most of the time, we know what's really good for us and what creates a stable, happy, sort of calm life. You know, and for me, for example, it's running 3 times a week is really good for me physically and mentally. But actually getting my butt out there in the winter freezing cold weather combined with rain is really hard. So we really know what is good for us, but making the change tends to be difficult. So I'm going to tell you what yoga has to say about it. And then I'm going to explain a couple of ideas around building these habits based on like Atomic Habits and all sorts of other self-help books that I have read many of. And I'm going to take that information and just condense it down to a couple of tips. And finally, we'll close with a crystal bowl micro meditation. All right, so what do these matches have to do with what I'm about to talk about? So yoga says that in order to make a change, we need tapas, T-A-P-A-S. Now, my master teacher translates, there's many ways you can translate Sanskrit words, and that's what makes it such a beautiful language, actually. It's very poetic. It's an oral tradition. So the words can be, even Sanskrit itself as a word means polished. So the idea is it's like a frequency, you know, it's not just a word. So tapas is the spark. It's the passion that you need to make a change, right? We have to feel something. You know, this is why I'm going to be playing our, you know, third eye chakra, because you've got to have that sort of drive, that sense of like longing, right? That's where it starts, right? And that's tapas. Tapas is the spark. But what's interesting is it's also can be translated as the friction it takes to create, right? To create the spark. So to light this match, I have to press actually pretty hard all the way across this, you know, matchstick stripe, and then hopefully the match will, you know, strike. And this particular one is really bad. It's like, okay, I didn't have to burn my fingers. Right, so that's the friction that's involved. And, you know, but once that spark is lit, we can light a candle, we can turn on our fire alarms, our smoke alarms. And from this candle, many candles could be lit, right? 1,000 candles could be lit from one candle. So it just takes that one match, which I find is really interesting. So I love that yoga pays tribute to the friction that's required, that friction of the match hitting the, I don't even know what you call this whatever, the striker, I guess, and that friction that's required to get the spark going. And that's what we encounter when we first make a change. And so there's this period of difficulty, right? Of pain, of suffering, of awkwardness, right? You feel awkward, you may feel uncoordinated, you don't know what you're doing, it's totally difficult, it's frustrating. And that's natural. That's actually a part of the process. And once we get through it, I mean, if you think back to, over the years, the times you've tried to make changes, once you've got through that really awkward period, it gets easier and easier and easier, right? And then suddenly, one day, like maybe a month or two later, you actually identify with the change that you've made. So 3 months from now in spring, I'll probably reclaim the identity of being a runner. Like, oh, what do you like to do? Well, I like to run. I run 3 times a week. I'm aiming to do a half marathon or whatever my goal might be. So that identity, so that's the period where sort of like, that's the critical period of change, right? Until it gets formed into your identity and a part of yourself, then you're less likely to ever drop it. But that awkward period of building the habit is the thing that's really difficult. So number one, know you're going to encounter some friction, even if you know it's great for you, right? You're going to encounter some friction. The second tip, which I've said in many different videos, is really automatize your habit into like very easily reachable goals. So if my goal is to run 3 times a week, maybe on Mondays I actually do run. But on Wednesday, maybe I won't run, right? So, but if I automatize that habit, as long as I put on my shoes, my running shoes, at the time that I said I would run, it counts, right? And then on Friday, if I put on my shoes at the time I said I would run, which maybe is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I normally do a midday run, then perhaps I run for just around the block. Like that counts. So it's this like slow habit building, I think, versus what we try to do is get into, I'm a runner the first week that we even are starting this new habit. And that's what leads to failure, because even like that awkward period will be just enough to make it so you won't do it. So my advice to you is to start out really small and make it highly achievable goals that build slowly over time until you reach like that ultimate goal of running 3 times a week. It might take you 4 weeks to get there, but once you do, you'll actually be doing it 3 times a week and you'll feel amazing. Okay, so now that we have learned about tapas, we've learned about friction that's natural, and we've gotten a few tips about how we can, we can imbibe our resolutions with habits that are actually going to make it so we keep them. All right, so let's do a little micro sound bath with our third eye chakra. January, just kind of considering what new goals and aspirations combining the energy of confidence and willpower with our intuition energy to help us confidently follow our dreams. I hope that it brought a little flicker, right? A little flame into your world. If you'd like a longer sun bath, every year I do a new moon, new you sun bath about this will be the third week in January for our membership group. It's a live stream and I talk about sankalpas, which are a different way to set your resolutions. I wish you all good luck and I wish you a wonderful start to an amazing year. See you soon.